So let's say that this schedule that we've been rapid, hyper prototyping, whatever language you want to use, isn't perfect. The idea of this system is to try and get you as far along as possible so you don't have to do as much work in the mundane structuring of items and things like that. But most likely this isn't entirely accurate or what I want. So what I do is I click on the Edit Schedule button, and then you'll see the interface is very similar, but if I mouse over, there's all these little hidden fields, if you will. So I can, maybe it guessed wrong on what this is. Maybe I don't want it to be a reading. Maybe this is, I'm referring to them generically as activities. So I can click Activity. You can see it updates on the fly right there. Maybe this title isn't wrong. It, guessed it should be Read Chapter 1, Read About Design. So maybe that's what I want it to actually say. I don't want it to be attend lecture, attend first day of class. So again, something very specific. And then in here, you can see there are these little descriptive fields for additional details. So the first week I put course orientation in here automatically. So maybe I want to put classes in 12B. And so you can see you give some additional directions there. Maybe I don't want course orientation. Take that out. There's also this kind of hidden value off here that we're just starting to work with implementing, but this is designed for point values. So this is where I can say how much things are. Maybe this assignment is 100 points. You can also give dates to things. So this says attend lecture. Maybe this lecture happens on a certain date, right? If it's a physical classroom. Click and pop this up. I can see, okay, well this is within February, so let's go to February. We got February 14th. We'll say maybe this is February 15th. So you can see Tuesday, February 15th. If I want to change the color of this, it picks the colors just based on a random algorithm, but maybe I have specific colors for these weeks that I like. You can do that. You can also edit the record as a whole so that you have access to some additional fields on top of this. So I'll click the little pencil. See, it pops up and we have the whole course event. You can edit the details here, the name, which map to these two fields. Change the type if you don't want it to be a lecture. So let's remove that that's a lecture. Dates. There's also some additional things in here with dates. So I have the start date, which I set as Tuesday, but I have date modifiers. So you can think of this as the language. So complete by Tuesday, 2:15 is very different in terms of what you're telling the student to do than due on as opposed to attend on. So let's do attend on that date because it's a lecture. And maybe there's a time for this lecture too, because oftentimes they do. So we'll say it's at 3 p.m. End date I won't use for this example. Some additional settings. You can see I can set the point value in here as well. I could also set a color for any of these. So maybe I want to add extra credence to the lecture on the schedule, make it stand out a little more visually, because this is an important one. You can also link this somewhere else. So I could link this to another website. I could link this to, we'll go to elms.ph.edu, or I can have this reference content in the course. So if I start to type, it'll autocomplete and see lesson 1 lecture. So maybe this is actually supposed to be a lesson 1 lecture. So let's drop this. Say save. So that'll reload itself, and you'll see now this is in yellow. It's 5 points. Tuesday, it's at 3 p.m. I have the attend lecture, which links to itself. You're not going to get the full view unless you click view. I mean, this is just an editing interface. So you see exactly what the student sees in this interface. So I've highlighted it because it's in yellow. This will link off to the lecture. So if I click that, it'll take them directly to the lecture. It's 5 points. Attend on Tuesday, 2:15 at 3 p.m. Can't get too much more direct than that. So if we go back to edit schedule, just a wrap up here, how many course events would you like to add? You can also add events generically if you don't have containers in mind. I can hit edit outline so I can change the structure of this. So if I wanted to move this quiz up here, even though that doesn't make a lot of sense to do, I can click that and it'll reload the page. You go up to the top, you see I have my complete quiz outside of there. You can also delete things from here.